7-0. And now Simeon crushes a ball back to left field. Gurriel to the wall. Goodbye. It is a rout in Game 4.
Marcus Simeon, tonight was your night. That 3-run shot gave the Rangers another double-digit game on a day where they lost Adolis Garcia for the rest of the World Series.
Good evening again from Phoenix, Arizona. Mike Ducey with Sam Gannon. Welcome to Free for All post-game edition. The Rangers lead the World Series over Arizona 3-1. Texas has a chance to win its first World Series tomorrow night here in this stadium. The Rangers build a 10-run lead. The bullpen let it get away from it a little bit, obviously, as you saw, and it got a little bit interesting momentarily, but Bochy was forced to go to Leclerc to close, and 11-7 is the final. So the Rangers' day started, with bad news, losing Adolis Garcia for the rest of the series, Max Scherzer for the rest of the series, but some guys really stepped up tonight, and that puts Texas on the verge, on the doorstep of a championship.
Yeah, we're going to talk about all those guys that contributed, but a couple of facts tonight. A franchise record for the Rangers for the most runs scored in a World Series game with 11. Marcus Simeon, a breakthrough game. Travis Jankowski stepping in for Adolis Garcia, batting ninth. He came up big. So many guys, I think, playing for Garcia, who you just feel awful for him, Mike, that he's lost for the rest of the series, but what a dominating win tonight in Game 4.
Rangers improved to 10-0 on the road in this postseason, extending their record there, and they've outscored they've scored 66 runs. I think it's 66-23 in those road games. 10-0 run. This incredible road playoff performance by the Texas Rangers, up 3-1 in the World Series now. To roll you through some of the highlights, plenty of post-game reaction coming up from Bruce Bochy and some of the guys in the clubhouse. Adolis Garcia out, as we mentioned. Rangers need to pick up the slack in other areas. Defense was good in Game 3. How about early tonight? Marte on the move in the first. Jonah Heim gets him. And then the offense. Josh Young up from 8th to 5th in the order. Delivers the double to start the second. He would score the game's first run on a wild pitch by Miguel Castro. 1-0 Texas in the second inning. More to come, much more to come. Marcus Simeon last night contributed with an RBI, and Simeon continues to break out of his postseason slump with this. Rips it. It's bobbled out there. Ends up being a 2-run triple for Simeon. 3-0 Rangers. And then the Rangers version of Mr. October, Corey Seager. Deep and gone, 2-run shot, 3 hits, all homers in the World Series. First shortstop ever to hit 3 in the series. 19 postseason homers for his career, passing Reggie on the all-time list. Rangers hit for the cycle in the second, 5-0. How about the guy who replaced Garcia in right in the third? His second hit in as many at-bats. Bases loaded in the inning. Travis Jankowski drives home a couple with the double. 7-0 the Ranger lead at that point. And yes, more to come. Marcus Simeon follows with a 3-run home run. Simeon, who slumped so badly for most of the playoffs. Rangers, meantime, scored 10 runs, all with 2 outs, pounding the D-backs with a 5-run second and a 5-run third. 10-zip. Texas cruises pretty much from there. Heaney gives them 5 innings, allowing just 1 run. Jonah Heim, the 8th inning solo shot, and Texas ends up winning it. As we said, the bullpen struggles a bit, but Rangers get the 11-7 win. They lead it 3-1 with a chance to win the World Series for the first time in franchise history tomorrow night. Of course, Ranger fans cringe when I say they're on the verge of winning the World Series. They take nothing for granted, but they're up 3-1, and we all know they were up 3-2 heading to St. Louis in 2011, and that didn't work out so well. But the Rangers in a great position here with Nathan Eovaldi on the mound, an experienced playoff pitcher if ever there was one, and a chance to make some history tomorrow night here in Phoenix.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike, and just so impressed with the fact that the Rangers held steady and held their poise. And when you talk about the offense, so much history was made tonight for these Rangers, the first team ever to score 5 runs in back-to-back innings. I mean, I don't think anyone thought that this was how it was going to go, but again, you get a solid outing tonight from Andrew Heaney on the mound, and your biggest stars at the top of the lineup, Seager, who's just incredible and going to go down as one of the greatest in the postseason. Then Marcus Semien, his first 15 playoff games, Mike, 0 home runs, 3 RBIs, 2 extra base hits. Tonight, 1 home run, 5 RBIs, and 2 extra base hits. So he's really coming alive at the most opportune time for this franchise.
Yeah, that tells the story for Semien. 3 RBIs the entire playoffs and 5 tonight. A guy who's been such a great leader for this ball club, contributing on the field offensively. His defense had always been good, but offensively coming through in the last couple of games. They mentioned a few times on the telecast, and again, nobody likes a jinx, and baseball people are very superstitious, but let's say Corey Seager wins World Series MVP. It would be his second. He won one with the Dodgers during the COVID year and the World Series played in Arlington. Koufax, Gibson, and Reggie. That's the list of players who have won the World Series Most Valuable Player twice. So that's the kind of company he would be keeping. But again, I guess the most impressive thing about tonight, the way that offense came alive, you know, in spite of the fact that they had lost Garcia and had that bad news going in. They played some inspired baseball tonight, and Corey Seager said playing for Garcia had a lot to do with it.
Corey, you guys suffered a tough blow today, losing Adolis Garcia. What was the mindset of the team coming into tonight's game?
You know, we miss him. He's been a big part of what we do. We're trying to go out there and win this one for him. So we're just hoping he gets better this offseason, but we're going to continue to keep going forward.
What was said at the hitters meeting?
He spoke, actually. You know, that took a lot of guts out of him to come out there and speak. You know, we know how he feels. He wants to be out there with us, and it really fired the guys up.
Home run and a double tonight. You looked like you were uncomfortable on the home run coming around the bases. What happened there?
No, I was fine. You know, we got a good win. You know, Heaney, with what he did, that performance to come out here and really shut them down, you know, it was a great team win.
Corey, you're 1 win away from your second World Series title. What would this one mean to you, considering all that this team has overcome?
Yeah, you know, it'd be awesome. You know, anytime you can put yourself in this position, it's where you want to be. So for this team, this organization, it'd be a big one for us.
Corey, thanks a lot.
Corey Seager with Ken Rosenthal on Fox. Seager, the Rangers version of Mr. October. Just no two ways about it.
There's so many stats involving him tonight, Mike. Let's run down a few of them. So Corey Seager, 4th home run in the last 5 games, 6th World Series home run of his career, more than any other shortstop ever. The 3rd of this World Series, his 19th homer of his postseason career. I mean, he's just incredible to watch, and you hear the poise that he talks with post-game. He knows they're close, but he knows they're not there just yet. So you can't get too high after a win like this, because we know how this Diamondbacks team is. They're also unpredictable like the Rangers. They can be somewhat chaotic. They didn't come out and get it done today, but make every point to say that tomorrow they're playing for their postseason lives, so they're going to give it their best.
Playing to keep their season alive, you bet. It's interesting, though, and I think, you know, impressive the way the Rangers have won in different ways, and we'll talk more about that after we hear live from Rangers manager Bruce Bochy after tonight's 11-7 win. Rangers up 3-1 in the World Series. Bruce Bochy.
And that's about where we wanted them. We're hoping to get 5 innings. Terrific job. You know, we had guys that got some work in. It got a little sloppy there at the end, but some guys needed to be out there. But you know, he did a nice job setting the tone there a little bit. Of course, the offense exploded tonight. That's always a good thing.
Go to Barry on your right, Boch.
Hey, Boch. I mean, you've had a lot of things happen in your career, but I don't know, you ever had a World Series game where 2 of your top players had to be kind of IL'd right before the game? How did you handle that, and how did the team handle it? They came out like gangbusters.
Right. We've dealt with it all year, to be honest. And I said this earlier, before the game. I couldn't be more proud of these guys, how they bounce back, how resilient they are, how they've dealt with things, whether it's losing streaks, whether it's injuries. You can't do anything about it, and you know they're going to happen occasionally. What's important is how you handle it, and they just have handled it all so well, the whole year. So I wasn't worried about how they would handle this.
Did you have to say anything? Or
No. They're professionals. They felt bad for Dolly. We all did. But you got to move on. You got to focus forward, and that's what we did.
Far back, Kyle.
Bruce, when you guys see an opponent is lining up a bullpen game, which is generally going to be the lower leverage middle relievers out the gate, knowing the offense you have, do you guys sense that it's an opportunity to pounce early?
Yeah, I'll say this. When you are going against a team that is doing a bullpen day, which we've done occasionally, it can be a challenge because you're seeing a different guy every time up. And so it's not about who they are or where they pitch as far as leverage situations. They're throwing good arms at us. And we just had, some guys that had some really nice days. I mean, Marcus and Corey and, of course, Jankowski. Really, a lot of guys did some good things there tonight. So, no, you don't take anything for granted, trust me, because they're professional pitchers over there. They've done very well, with their bullpen days. We knew that, and they can do their matchup deal. You just got to go out there and compete.
The two last ones, Tyler.
Coach, you've seen a lot of baseball over the decades. The opener strategy is something that we've seen in the last few years. What do you think of that, just sort of aesthetically? I mean, it's unusual to see it in the World Series stage, right? What do you think of that whole strategy in general?
Well, I'll be honest. I'm not a big fan, of it during the season. It's being done a lot, but I understand it. If you don't have, a starter to fit in that slot there, you have to adapt to your club. I'm not saying, it's not a good thing. You're in a World Series. You got to do what you can to win a ball game. But I'm saying in general, and that's kind of my thinking over the years, because I do think fans love matchups, certain pitchers, things like that, which you'll see the next few days. But it's part of the game now. And, with analytics and things like that, or setting up the strategy, how to get through a game when you don't have a starter to go in that game. Now, be honest, we were in a similar role tonight. Our guy he was rolling, so we stuck with him out there.
We'll finish up with Steve standing on your
Congratulations,
left.
Bruce. Can I ask you, you've been in this situation before. You've been in this game for so many years, but what does it feel like to be one game away from accomplishing what you want to accomplish?
The only thing I'm thinking tomorrow, we got to come out and play our best game. I don't mean to cliche that, but it is. That's how you look at it. You don't look where you're at. Your focus has to be on tomorrow's game, going out there and doing all you can to win a ball game. And that's where we have to be thinking. That's where our minds have to be.
Coach, thanks so much.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Bruce Bochy trying to win his 4th World Series. The other 3 with the Giants, of course, and trying to lead the Rangers to their 1st. Their 10th straight playoff road win, as we mentioned, Major League record. They've homered in 15 straight playoff games, another big league record. First to score 5 runs in consecutive innings of a World Series game, as they did that in the 2nd and the 3rd tonight, all with 2 outs, by the way. And Seager, as Sam discussed, the first shortstop to hit 3 home runs in one World Series. Those, some of the notable headlines from this one. You heard Bruce Bochy asked about the opener strategy, where you're using a relief pitcher basically to start a game and hope that he can give you a few good innings. Heaney gave him more than that tonight. He was really effective. He had a lot of offense to work with, of course, and the Rangers pitcher is speaking with the media right now. Let's hear what he has to say.
It's going to be probably some combination of me and Dane trying to take down as many innings as we could. Obviously, you're kind of envisioning it being a close game where you might go to your high leverage guys or whatever. So just trying to stay in the game.
This was your longest start, I think, since August. I mean, how are you feeling? What was working for you out there?
I mean, I feel good, tired, but yeah, it's just moving the ball around. Changeup felt pretty good tonight. Just trying to just stay away from damage with these guys. They've got some righties that hit me really well, and so just trying to stay away from any big swings.
Claudia, right here.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, congratulations. How does it feel to win in the World Series? How great was to see your teammates put up to 10 runs?
Yeah. I mean, that's huge. Obviously, like 5 runs in the 2nd inning there really takes a lot of pressure off, and then putting up 5 the very next inning, we get a 10-run lead. It's a lot easier to go out there and trying to attack the strike zone and not be not feel so, confined to having to make perfect pitches.
Go the fourth row in the middle, Andrew.
Hey, Andrew, you just pitched in the World Series and put the Rangers in a very good position. What does this moment mean to you?
I mean, it's awesome. I've had a lot of ups and downs in my career. Been on a bunch of different teams, and never had this opportunity, obviously, and had not a great start against Houston the last time I was, given the opportunity to start. Only got 2 outs, gave up 3 runs. Didn't want to have that, kind of that taste in my mouth stay. And so, it's awesome. Obviously, like, I just want to win the game. I want us to win, and we did that. And so now we're obviously in a great position and need to finish it off.
Other questions for Andrew? Anything else? All right. Congratulations, Andrew.
Thank you, guys.
Great accomplishment.
Andrew Heaney, the winning pitcher tonight. 5 really solid innings for the Rangers. A run on 4 hits and 3 strikeouts as Texas gets the win 11-7 tonight.
Yeah, you hear him there, Mike, and just how appreciative he is of his journey, the fact that he's had to overcome a lot of injuries, and alluding to the offense there, what it does when this team can put up a lot of runs early. It takes all the pressure off. You're able to attack the strike zone much better, as he said right there, because of the fact that the Rangers bats were hot tonight. And this is a Rangers offense, how they played tonight, what we've seen so much in the regular season. So good for Heaney.
Yeah, a really solid performance from him. And again, the offense in the absence of Garcia picking up the slack. Simeon and Seager at the top, but guys like Young with 3 hits and Jankowski, who makes his World Series debut and comes in and produces as well. More to come here from Chase Field in Phoenix. Jeff Cole covering the clubhouse for us as always. We will hear from more of the Texas Rangers as they take a 3-1 lead in the World Series. We're back after this.
Into center field, Jankowski comes through again. Kicks away from Thomas. 2 runs are in. A 2-run double from the guy getting his shot. Travis Jankowski.
Adolis Garcia's absence from the lineup loomed large over Game 4, really until it got started. Garcia's replacement in the lineup picking up right where Obambi left off. Welcome back to our free-for-all post-game coverage after the Rangers' 11-7 win tonight in Game 4 of the World Series. 3-1 lead in games now for Texas over Arizona.
All right, right now, let's send it out to our Jeff Kolb, who is live on the field. He had a chance to talk with a bunch of players in the clubhouse, Jeff, and I'm sure a bunch of them wanted to get this done for Adolis Garcia tonight, who, as we know, is done for the rest of this World Series.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Sam. And I think there also was a little sense of just relief, to get through this one with another win after losing Doley and Max Scherzer. Before this game started, guys, I think there was a little sense of feeling like maybe the Rangers lost more here Monday night than they won. Even though they took the 2-1 advantage, it almost felt like maybe you'd trade that to still have Scherzer and Garcia. But I go back to what we heard from Nathaniel Lowe before this game, that losing Garcia and Scherzer, it's not a problem. It's a challenge. And once again, this team up to the challenge again. The resilience has just been remarkable all year long. Travis Jankowski, what a story. This team just seems to be better when their backs are against the wall. And now they're 1 win away from a World Series title. And as Scherzer told me last week, being friends forever.
Anyone would give, anything they could to go out there and be on that field tonight. And, when Adolis gets hurt, that's emotional, right? Like, he's been a huge part of our success, not only in the postseason, but in the regular season too, and he deserves to be out there. So that's when you pull together as a team and you say, hey, let's do this, for the guy who can't go out there tonight. He's pulled us along this whole year. Let's pick him up.
How can you reflect on your journey, 9 years, in the big leagues? You finally get your first at-bats in the postseason last week, and then you have this moment. How can you just reflect on the journey?
It's awesome. Honestly, right now there's not a lot of time to reflect on it. It's let's go win one more, you know. So I'll reflect on it over Thanksgiving with my friends and family. But right now, let's go get one more and get that ring.
What's allowed you to stay ready and contribute right away in these moments?
He's a gangster, that's why.
No.
Is that true?
Honestly, when you're hitting this lineup, you know that you don't have to do too much. You know, I knew that I didn't have to go out and have the postseason that Adolis was having. I just had to go out, you know, swing at pitches I could handle, put a good swing on the ball, and get on base. That's what I've been doing all year. That's always my mindset. And like I said, you don't replace Adolis. You know, you play the best version of you that you can, and I just wanted to go out and do that tonight.
How satisfying was this win?
Yeah, every win's satisfying, no matter what the situation, and obviously you never want to lose those guys, and they've been pillars for us all postseason, and especially Adolis has been our MVP, and but obviously we got to go out and play the games, and there was no time for sulking. We had to go out, perform, and I thought Janko did a great job stepping in for Adolis, and I think the team rallied around it, and 1 through 9 we had a good game plan tonight and did our jobs.
But just knowing how much this moment, being in this World Series, has meant to both Scherzer getting back here, to Garcia getting here, and the performance he's had. I mean, CY told us before the game, you know, he has a ton of empathy for those guys losing this moment. To pick them up, how much does that mean?
Oh, it's amazing. I don't even know how I'd feel in this situation, and I think the best thing we can do is just go out and finish this thing tomorrow for him.
As I said, Jankowski, an amazing story. I said it during the pregame. It was really next men up to replace Adolis Garcia. Jankowski has not played a lot. You know, his story is incredible. He's been in the big leagues for 9 years. He's a former first-round pick. You know, had a ton of injuries, kind of got derailed, became a guy that teams were really just using as a pinch runner. And here he comes in, year 9, finally gets his first at-bats in the postseason and starts out 3 for 4. In fact, his first at-bat back in the ALCS against Houston, the out that he makes on his first at-bat is a home run that Kyle Tucker robbed. Jankowski, he was ready for the moment, and he came up huge for this Rangers team, guys.
Yeah, he's a popular guy in that clubhouse. You could hear the other guys give him a hard time during that interview. We talked on the pregame also, Jeff, about, you know, the guys, as we said, who would have to step up and how the lineup would be shuffled. And Young moved up and hit fifth and really had a nice night as well. I think a 3-hit night for the rookie third baseman. So he was one of the big contributors too.
Yeah, and we've been talking about this. I've been vocal to you guys off camera about this. I thought Josh Young was a candidate to move up in this lineup for a long time. You know, we know that he batted 5th for most of this year, even cleanup at points. This guy is not an 8-hitter, but, you know, had just sort of had success in that role, you know, since the postseason started, had struggled at times with the thumb injury. Josh Young, man, you know, we talk about Evan Carter as being an incredible rookie. Josh Young was in the contention for Rookie of the Year before that injury to the thumb in August. He's been huge, not just with the bat, but obviously with the glove as well, and the fielding plays we've seen.
Yeah, Jeff, the Rangers rookies have really stepped up in a big way this postseason. I loved in your interview with Jankowski when you asked him if he was going to be able to reflect, and he said, I'll reflect on it over Thanksgiving with my family, but let's go get a ring. And that's been the mentality of this Rangers team. They don't look too far ahead. They let go when things don't go their way. And when you have Bruce Bochy there leading the command, it's really no wonder they're in the position that they're in, because they've been able to bounce back, overcome all kinds of adversities throughout the regular season and now the postseason, as we're seeing.
Well, and the team on the other side has showed its resilience too, and for that reason, and I just heard it in the clubhouse, the Rangers do not think that the D-backs are out of this by any means. There's a reason they have the nickname the Answer Backs. They faced 2 elimination games just last week against the Phillies and knocked off that squad that had just been to the World Series the year before. So this D-backs team, we saw them, you know, push the envelope late in that game. In fact, you know, oddly enough, you know, Arizona makes a bullpen game out of this, and the Rangers wind up using more pitchers. Arizona actually out-hit the Rangers in this game. But hey, you know, the number that matters at the end of the day is 11-7. The Rangers come out on top. And by the way, Corey Seager, I mean, what more can we say? Derek Jeter is back there on the set behind me. You know, he's only 1 home run up on Corey Seager for most all-time in the playoffs by a shortstop.
Yeah, Seager passed Mr. October, Reggie Jackson, on the all-time postseason list tonight. So the Rangers version of that Mr. October, Mr. Seager. Jeff Kolb, thanks very much. We continue here Tonight from Phoenix, Arizona, Diamondback fans, of course, in this ballpark had very little to cheer about tonight. But in Arlington, the party is going all night long. We hear from some fans at Globe Life Field when we come back.
This was an emotional moment tonight here at Chase Field. Major League Baseball pausing, as it does every Game 4 of the World Series, to pay tribute to cancer victims and survivors. Players, coaches, fans, broadcasters, and umpires holding up signs to honor those affected by different forms of cancer.
Rangers first baseman Nathaniel Lowe not shown on tonight's broadcast, but an emotional moment for Lowe and his family as his mother, Wendy, battles brain cancer. She's been unable to attend the games in person, but you can bet she is watching at home.
All right, Mike. So there were some Rangers fans out here tonight. We heard the cheers getting a little louder as the Rangers started to pour on the runs in that third inning when they went up 10-0. So a good little crowd here.
Yeah, there were a few "Let's Go Rangers" chants going, and during the national anthem, a few stars.
Yeah,
when it hit
I love that. I love how fans do that.
Peyton Yeager is back in Arlington at the ballpark, where she's been talking with Rangers fans who had reason to celebrate tonight. Peyton?
Yeah, Mike and Sam, I hope you guys could hear us from Arlington, but let's talk about before the game. Fans were getting that news that Garcia was out and Scherzer was out right before the game, so I was talking to them, who's going to step up? Will the team step up? But let's just say those questions were answered within the first few innings. They say Garcia got us here, but this team is really going to bring it home. Let's show some video from next door at Texas Live. Now, these fans, both here at Globe Life and next door at Texas Live, could barely sit down in between those hot bats with 5 runs in the second and also 5 runs in the third. Jankowski, if fans didn't know his name before, they know it now. Stepping in for Garcia, gets a single at his first at-bat, a double during his second, and then, of course, we all saw that 2-run homer by Seager. A lot of chance, Sam and Mike, for MVP for Seager. And then Semien joining in that home run party, blowing open that lead, causing this place to go nuts. Safe to say fans were ecstatic. A little bit of a heart attack at the end, but following that win, sealed win from Game 4, they left the ballpark and talked to us. Take a listen.
I was looking around and thinking of the ghost of Michael Young and Adrian Beltre and Nolan Ryan, and maybe we're going to do it. I believe we're going to.
This team is the truth. It is the truth. And it's great to see them back and see them with the chance to bring it all home.
One more, baby! One more!
I cannot even imagine if we win tomorrow, what is...
Oh, it's on.
Oh, it was incredible. Yeah. They had us scared at the end, but no, we made it through.
No, we're not scared. We weren't scared.
It feels wonderful. We got to make up for the last time. Yeah. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. Yeah, but there's no way we can't.
Confidence is key. I love the confidence. And Mike and Sam, a really good crowd here tonight. It was Halloween, but I was talking to a lot of families, a lot of kids here tonight. You know, they couldn't go to Game 1. They couldn't go to Game 2. Looks like the Rangers are handling it so far in Phoenix. They couldn't travel, so this really is the best place. And for tomorrow, with 1 game away from a World Series, I guess this is the place to be if you're in North Texas to celebrate it all here together. We will be here. I'm really excited. We're going to send it back to you in Phoenix.
Could be quite a party if things go right for the Rangers tomorrow night. Peyton Yeager, thanks very much.
You know, Mike, there's a lot of DFW sports stars from other franchises who are keeping an eye on the Rangers tonight, and they got a shout out from one guy in particular. That would be Mr. Luka Doncic, posting this after Game 4, saying, quote, "One more. Rangers, don't worry. Dirk Nowitzki and I, we are not coming to the game." Luka taking a little bit of the blame for the team's only loss of the series. He and Dirk attended Game 2 on Saturday when Arizona won 9-1. So he might be a little superstitious too, as superstitions tend to be in baseball. So love the fact that Luka has jumped on board with this team. He did say Adolis Garcia is his favorite player, so I'm sure he was bummed for him today.
Yeah, and you could just hear the tone and the voice of the guys in the Rangers clubhouse, how much they felt for Adolis Garcia, how inspired they were by the words he said to them today as he, experienced the disappointment of knowing that he would not be able to return during this World Series. The Rangers, one win away again from winning it. They're up 3-1. The Rangers franchise moved from Washington to Texas in 1972. Have not won a World Series. Been to 2. Have not yet won one. Have a chance to do that tomorrow night. 3 games to win 1, and the Rangers would be, in fact, crowned champions. A weird day in that it started with such bad news for the Rangers. Began on a really ominous note as they initially, were kind of trying to put on a brave face as it pertained to Adolis Garcia or Max Scherzer, but both were hurt during last night's game. About an hour before first pitch, both were deactivated for the remainder of the World Series. Garcia has an oblique injury, Scherzer back problems. GM Chris Young says there's no chance either could make it back by Saturday.
Adolis did everything he could today. He came in. He was the first guy in today. He got as much treatment as possible. He went down to the cage and gave it a go, and it was very clear he was in pain. Max came in today. His back is in the same spot it was last night. He received full day of treatment, and there was no progress. If this were the regular season, they'd both be ILs, and we're just at a point in time where we don't have the time to wait these things out.
Should note they made roster moves. Ezekiel Duran and Brock Burke added to the roster, and Scherzer and Garcia deactivated.
Meantime, it's never too early to talk about that closeout game, which is on hand for the Rangers tomorrow. They are set to start big game Nathan Eovaldi in Game 5. He will take the mound tomorrow night here at Chase Field. Eovaldi was sharp through the first 2 innings of Game 1 of this World Series, but the D-backs got to him after that. He did give up 5 runs in less than 5 innings of work. Easily his worst start of the playoffs. A win would not only clinch a World Series title, it would give Eovaldi his 5th playoff victory of 2023, which would be a record for a single postseason. He says that means not overthinking things after that tough Game 1 outing.
I try to play to my strengths, but at the same time, I try to learn from my mistakes that I had. So, coming in this next start against these guys, I'll be pitching a little differently, but at the same time, just continue to use my strengths and attack their weaknesses.
All right, the Rangers are playing some of their final games of the season just a few miles away from where it all began, the team spring training complex, and Surprise is about 30 miles from Chase Field. Tomorrow morning on Good Day, Fox 4's Paige Ellenberger takes a closer look at the Rangers coming full circle in the desert. Good Day starts at 4 a.m.
And pregame coverage of Game 5 of the World Series starts at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon right here on Fox 4. We'll take you straight into the Fox pregame show. The final game, first pitch shortly after 7. It's the final game. Now, we don't get ahead of ourselves. We don't know it's the final game. You don't know it's the final game, is it? Somebody else wrote this. It's the final game here at Chase Field in Phoenix. Always proofread your copy, ladies and gentlemen. More free-for-all post-game edition here from Phoenix, Arizona when we come back right after this.
We're all thinking the same thing right now, so it's just, hey, focus forward and try to win a ball game.
Again, the Rangers up 3-1 in the World Series after an 11-7 win tonight. If the Rangers pick up a win tomorrow, they would win the World Series for the first time in franchise history. It's the last game in this ballpark tomorrow. If Arizona can win tomorrow, they send the series back to Texas for Game 6 on Friday.
Some Rangers fans were already coming at me on social media for saying they're 1 win away from a World Series, saying, do you really have to say that? Listen, I understand what's happened in the past, but guess what? It's not the past anymore. It's the present. Have some faith, stand on that confidence, and see what this team can do tomorrow.
Sam doesn't like to live in the past.
No, I'm a present. I like to live in the present. I'm not a worrier or anything. All right, well, that does it for Mike and myself right now. Let's send it back to the studio where Steve Eager, Clarice Tinsley are awaiting you to present all the news coverage of the night. Guys, back to you.
All right, and they are, in fact, 1 win away. That's just factually, journalistically, and every other way true. Thank you, Mike and Sam, live in Arizona. Good night in Arizona tonight.
Frightfully good baseball for Rangers in the desert on this night. Now, here at home, a chilly night for trick-or-treating with some